Hello, it's Amy with Paper Moon Journals, and welcome to week 3 of the Merry Makers Christmas Craft Collaboration. This time we're making Christmas or holiday cards. I have a fun pop-up card. There's plenty of different crafters involved in this collaboration. The list is going up on screen, and then the links will be in the description box, as well as a link to the playlist where you can just sit and play all the videos. Here's a sample project that I made that we'll be making a similar card today. It's the easiest pop-up card I have ever made. It was inspired by Tanu Creative channel here on YouTube. I will tag her in the channel. She has hers in centimeters and she shows the base construction of the card. And then mine, I changed the size slightly. We make a custom envelope with a pocket where you can put a note inside, since there's no room to write inside of this card. And then I added a Velcro closure, since I'll be gifting mine with junk journals or inside a box. Mine won't be getting mailed, but you could always glue the envelope shut and then write on the flap side of the envelope the name and address. So for this project, I figured out all of the calculations in inches and have it on this paper. You'll want to take a screenshot here. Okay, I hope you had a chance to get a picture of that. I do make a couple notes of additions of the names of the pages I'm using, things like that. I may add this for a couple dollars as a PDF in my Etsy shop, maybe not. So definitely get a screenshot of that. And so what we do here to make the card base is the main base. I used a heavyweight card. I find craft is always more heavy duty than any other color of card. And I cut one piece to 10 by 5 and folded in half into 5 by 5 square. Then I used two red pieces that are 4 3/4 inch square for the outer cover. And I believe that's from the main paper collection. It's red on one side and then has Alice in Wonderland illustrations on the other. And then I cut two more pieces to line the inside of the card. I chose the ones that has the roses, large roses on it, that's in the black and grays, that I think is also from the main paper collection of the 12 by 12. And then the feature image we cut from the 12 by 12 cut apart page. We cut that picture of Alice, the main Curiouser and Curiouser cut apart. Gets cut down to 4 by 4. They're 4 inches wide, so I just cut it to 4 inches tall and back it onto 4-inch chipboard or foam tape. It's the sheet called Adventure Time that has the cut aparts on it. And then I also used a piece of 4 1/2 inch square of black card to mat that feature image. But first I like to ink up the edges of everything that shows. And here is our card base, our 5-inch square card base. And then also I thought it would be fun if we make a matching envelope. I love making matching envelopes for my cards and decorating them. And then also we get to use my envelope card punch board. I bought this a couple years ago, maybe even 3 years ago, and I've never used it. And so how exciting for me to finally get out the tool and use it. And now that I've made a few envelopes on it, I think I'll be making a few more. One of the things that I noticed while I refill my glue on camera here was that the craft cardstock that I bought from Hobby Lobby is not actually, the letter size isn't actually 8 1/2 by 11. Because I just assumed that it was 8 1/2 inches wide and cut it to 8 1/2 inches. And then my envelope came out all wonky and I couldn't figure it out. And initially it made me think I just didn't know how to use the tool and I pushed it aside. But this next time I thought, well, let me just check. And sure enough, that paper was not 8 1/2 inches wide. It was some odd amount off, not 1/8 of an inch or whatever exactly, but it was some odd amount shorter than exactly 8 1/2 inches, which is why the envelope hadn't worked out. You can see in the video that I'm cutting this down to be 4 inches tall, since as I explained it's already 4 inches wide. So what I did was I cut the top border off right above the sentiment, where there's kind of a border line there, and then just cut the bottom off at exactly 4 inches. and then with it 4 inches wide, that's perfect. I'd intended to add this to chipboard to raise it up, but I forgot to do it. In my excitement during filming, I forgot those plans and didn't. So we'll be able to compare the one that I did, the sample that was raised up on chipboard, and this one that isn't. I find that it really elevates, pun intended, the look of your project when you raise things up on chipboard or foam tape. I had a bunch of really big, huge rolls of foam tape, and I never used them, and so I put them in a less accessible area somewhere, I don't know. I just thought, these don't need to be right next to me where I'm working. I don't use them all the time. I like that pink flamingo. It could make a good cover instead of this one as well on another project, or it could be used to decorate the envelope of our project today, which is, I think, how this one's used. So for the inside, we're going to use this sheet that is the gray floral pattern from the main paper collection, the 12 by 12. I know I do use some from the 8 by 8 as well, but I don't think that was on this project. I just kept making these pop-up cards are so fun and easy. It is the easiest pop-up card I have ever made. If you've always wanted to make one and you've been nervous and you think maybe it's too hard, this is the pop-up card for you. I promise you. It doesn't take a scoreboard or measuring or tools or anything. It's super easy. Well, I do use my scoreboard, but it's not necessary. I use it to make it easy for me. You could just fold little 1/2-inch flaps on a couple of the pieces without your scoring tool. And then here's the envelope that I made. Again, the first one that I made out of craft came out all wonky. So then I cut a piece out of manila that was the 8.5 by 8.5, would make the perfect size envelope on the punch board. We'll get that out and we'll do that together, actually. We'll make the one out of craft that comes out wonky, but I can explain now, it came out wonky because the paper wasn't an even size. So like I said before with the sample project, I like to put a pocket on the front of the envelope. You could put a gift card in here if you wanted. My intention is to add a note, that I'll write a friendly note, and then I just put something in there to remind me that I left that as a pocket, because believe it or not, sometimes I'll forget. I'll forget my intention of making that a pocket and putting a note in there, and I'll end up adding a pocket to some other place so I can add a note. So here it is. We take our 3-inch by 10-inch piece and we fold it into quarters, accordion style, as I'm showing here on camera. And then you have a piece that looks like an M, the letter M, or a W. But we want ours to look like the letter M with the peak in the middle for us. And then these two pieces are 3-inch square, and these need to be scored 1/2 inch on either side, and since they're directional, I'm going to score one on the left side and the other one on the right. This is a new scoring tool for me, and I'm pretty excited about it. My trim and scoreboard had seen better days, and so I thought I would invest into a new scoring only tool since I do so much scoring. When I first bought the score and trim board, I wasn't even sure that I would be willing to try scoring. I thought using the scoring board and projects that use that were just too complicated, and I was not interested. And I've said this before, it's definitely true. Any video where somebody got out their scoring board, that was it. I was done. I clicked off the video and I was out. I was intimidated and didn't like it. I'm using a Barbie brush as a bone folder to burnish this down. I have also commented on the variety of things that I'll use for bone folders, and there's another great example. Little Barbie brush on my desk turned a bone folder burnishing tool. It's the cutest little burnishing tool maybe I've ever had. Barbie should invest in, or should start coming out with some paper crafting supplies. I bet I'm not the only paper crafter who would like some Barbie themed scissors and punches and things like that, with the little Barbie logo and cute little imagery on it. Okay, so the rest of the little pieces that we cut out to decorate the pop-up element, you need 4 2¼ by 3¼ inch pieces to decorate the pop-up section. I used from the Beautiful Nonsense from the 8 by 8 pad. And just glue those down, one onto each side. You want to glue the flaps of our 3 by 3 that we had scored first, so we can cover up that flap when we glue down the piece. You could, of course, use a larger variety of different papers here. You could leave it blank so that somebody could add photos, or you could decorate some and then leave some blank. Some of the ones that I had, I used from the ephemera collection, had nice die cuts. I used some nice die cuts to decorate it. I think this one. I made so many. I had so much fun making this. It only took me a half an hour, real time. None of this is sped up. It took me about a half an hour. I think I did cut a little bit out that got boring while I ran off and looked for some tools and things. But it really did just took a half an hour. So I spent the rest of the day and I made 4 or 5 more of these little cards, one at a time. So here's how it glues in as the pop-up mechanism. I like to just hold it in place and kind of see that it's going to work. Put the glue on, fold it shut, and then turn it over. This is where having a high quality glue really comes in handy. If you were using Elmer's glue or a lower quality glue, you would really want to maybe let this sit with a book on it first before you tried to pop it open and check it out. But thanks to the art glitter glue, just a few seconds and it's good to go. Isn't that cute? I think we should decorate those little blank yellow pages and with the hearts. Let's look at the original one. It looks like I had some Dresden trim and some lace, so I went and grabbed some of that. To glue down trims and lace, you can use 3-in-1 glue. You can use Fabri-Tac glue, which is made by the same company that makes the 3-in-1 glue, Beacon 3-in-1 glue or Beacon fabric glue. I got some new fabric glue to try that I included in my advent boxes, my Christmas advent boxes. I have an extra tube of it for myself, but I tend to really hoard my fabric glue. I'll use this art glitter glue on anything it will work on, and then save the fabric glue for like gluing together doll clothes or fabric to fabric, or if I wanted to glue down some nice silk trim or something like that and not have the glue stain the trim, that the fabric glue is a little bit better when it comes to staining, although it still might depending on the fabric. Okay, I've run off and grabbed my bag of die cuts, now that it's called Ephemera Collection. Oh, I like those postage stamps, but I like to use those in my scrapbook mini album projects. Let me get a few pieces out that we can use to decorate the book. I like the Tweedle brothers. I think that's really cute. I'd like to use them in here. Let me see what else I can find in here. We'll use the postage stamps. I'm pretty sure I have another packet of these, and I can always use the other strip of postage stamps from the other project. Can you feel that? Ouch! Cutting apart that beautiful vertical ephemera piece, cutting it into 2. Look at me fumbling my little thing I'm trying to glue. Thankfully it didn't have glue on it yet. All my sweatpants that I wear to craft in the wintertime in the house, because I keep the house really cold, and they all have stains on them from dropping things with glue onto my lap. I will fumble it onto my lap, and then even though I try to wash the glue off of there, it always leaves a discolored stain. They're so gross looking, it's a shame. But as soon as I get something nice, if I craft in it, it doesn't look nice anymore. By the end of the day, not so nice looking. So I have to craft in my grubby clothes or shorts during the summertime. My legs are easily wiped off when I drop glue onto them. So here's our envelope that we made. You can just see how it's going to fit nicely in there. And then here's our sample card. Let's get out our card again and kind of look at them side by side. The one on the left is raised up on chipboard, and the one on the right is flatter and has less dimension. It's probably less obvious on the camera here than in person. And then I also want to add some of my favorite Stickles glitter, this diamond, the diamond color. It comes in a 3-pack with silver and gold and is super affordable, or I like it so well I get it in a 5-pack, but then it's like $50 for 5 of them. Ouch. Especially as much as I like to use it. I will, not on a project this size, but like on a big junk journal, I'll easily use a whole bottle of Stickles glitter on one of those projects between decorating pages, tags, ephemera, and embellishments and things. I'll go through it all. So I think I used some of the silver glitter on some of the things and then some of the diamond glitter on other things. I think now is a good time to go over using the envelope punch board. They're really affordable and they actually go on sale right about now, where they can go down as low as like $7 or $8, which is what mine was when I picked it up. That's why I finally bit the bullet and got another tool, even though it's just a single-use tool. So this says for the size envelope that we need, we wanted 8.5 inch square. And then with the 8.5 inch, the instructions say to line it up with 4 1/4 on the ruler. Then you punch it and score it. So I line it up the corner with 4 1/4, punch it, and then score it with the groove. And just keep rotating, punching, and scoring. And the little guide at the bottom tells you with what size envelope you need, what size paper, and where you line it up. It sounds way more complicated than it is. I'm not doing the best job at explaining it. But here's a fresh craft envelope. As I said, I did go and make 4 or 5 more of these pop-up cards so that I can give them for Christmas. I like using the corner rounder, so I popped off and got that. You don't have to round the corners, but it looks nice. If you were only going to get one tool, it would probably be that. I would get a corner rounder. You can take it, just the tiniest little scrap of something, round the corners, and it looks like a little journaling card. So here it is, and you can see how the envelope's kind of wonky and off to one side there on the left. That's it. That's because the paper is not square. So if this happens to you, that's because your paper wasn't square either. Maybe you assumed that your paper was 8.5 by 11 since it said it was 8.5 by 11 and not 8 7/8 by 11 or 8 5/8 by 11 or 8 5.5/8 by 11 or whatever. Anyway, some weird amount. Probably have to switch to centimeters or millimeters to get that weird amount that it was off. But yep, they're all done. They're so pretty. Let's go ahead and take a look at them. I'm running out of time and I didn't get any footage in the correct orientation for YouTube. So I thought what I would do is I would go ahead and share at the end the finished project. We'll do a flip through, but it's in the vertical orientation. So apologies for that. Okay, here they are. So the sample one was made on craft paper. Otherwise, it would be hard to tell them apart, and I just wouldn't remember. So the craft paper one was the sample. It's been raised up on chipboard. And there are the pop-ups for the teapot, the hat. There's Alice, the watch. Pretty cute and so easy to make and fast. I couldn't believe how fast. This is the fastest, easiest pop-up card I have ever made. I swear. And here's the one that we made in our video. Isn't that cute? It's just as cute. And the envelope that we made. And again, just to see, there's little pockets so you can leave a note or put a card in there. If I was going to mail it, I would just glue it shut, and on the flap side, I would address it. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you'll check out not just my video, but all the other videos on the playlist. There are tons of really fun and interesting craft projects and ideas. I know I get excited about all of the projects when I watch the videos. If only I wasn't so busy making stuff and videos, I'd have more time to give their projects a try because they look so fun. Thanks again and have a great day.